show us some love on social media. Follow us on Instagram by searching for _no-free-drinks, or you can even like us on Facebook. Choose your poison.
Hey, welcome back to No Free Drinks. This is Maddie. I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Hey, it's me. It's Wesley.
And Lena D.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming back. Really excited about today's episode where we're going to be talking about what Mama always said.
Mama said, knock you out. I'm going to knock you out.
Okay.
Mama said, knock you out. Sorry.
And we would like to thank Wesley for that wonderful musical rendition.
Hey, I love Cool J. Ladies love Cool.
We don't want an encore.
That's enough. That's enough. You can stop now.
Wow, y'all trying to play me? All right, I got y'all. This episode's going to be full of y'all.
Okay, relax, calm down.
Ain't nothing
It's all
calm
in
about
love.
Ain't no love in this
but
bitch.
So we wanted to talk about, really, I guess this is a letting you guys get to know us a little bit better episode. So we also wanted to just touch on our upbringings and the things that were important to us and our families and what molded us into the people the wonderful people that we are today.
Yeah.
If I don't know about Wesley, but me
Wow.
and Lena D are bomb.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
No,
I'm having this good ass wine, so I'm going to let this slide one more time. We
He's
got
just
one more
going to
strike.
sip. He's just
You
going to be
sip
Kermit
your
the
wine.
Frogging
You're
it.
just gonna sip your wine. Go ahead.
That's right. I'm a classy man.
But I know we had touched on this a few times, and if you haven't caught on by now, I am a African American woman. Let me stop.
Wakanda forever.
I'm from Wakanda forever. Born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, but by a Haitian mother. And shout out to my Caribbeans out there, because y'all already know what it is. One of the things I would say that my mama always said was
knock you out.
Okay,
sorry.
actually, she did not say that. One of the biggest things that was important to my mom was education. And she would always say, if you're dumb, you're not going to get anywhere.
Basically.
So don't be stupid. She was so loving. So loving.
I don't know about that.
So let's see. Lena D.
Yeah, you actually just reminded me of something my mom always said too that I just thought about right now. But I've kind of talked about this in like episodes eons ago. But for those of you that are joining us for the first time or you haven't heard this in a while, I am Salvadorian. Both of my parents are from El Salvador. But I grew up in Long Island. I was born and raised in Long Island. But always grew up with a very strong like cultural upbringing about what El Salvador is and was, and like at least how my parents perceived El Salvador while they were living there. And a part of that is also a very like strong religious side to my family. My grandmother was like a practicing Catholic her entire life from like when she was a child, and she talks about like having gone to Catholic school and how that shaped her up until like when, you know, she was on her deathbed. She was always very much about
And her last rites.
and her like about God and everything. So she was always very like focused on God. My mom has a very similar upbringing, although she's not as devout practicing Catholic compared to my grandmother. Always was about as much advice as she would give about, you know, you have to try your hardest, you have to work hard, education's important. So she had all these other things, but the one thing that she always would say is like, if you pray on it, God will make it happen.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that has kind of like shaped me because I always have faith. So I'm a very bad Catholic. I don't practice. I can't remember the last time I went to church.
Heathen.
I'm a heathen.
Easter.
My grandmother
Christmas.
probably is like
Cadbury
rolling.
egg on deck.
Stop it.
My grandmother's probably like rolling in her grave, like, oh my God, my granddaughter. But I've at least always, the one thing that did stick with me is being very faithful and always having faith in a greater power or a greater being or in God. And honestly, to me, it's very much on the situation that I read it on, but I feel like it's made me such an optimistic person that like, no matter the odds, I'm like, yeah, I can take the shit on. So a part of it.
I love this. This is a part of Lena D I have never seen before. My goodness.
So like you talking about sort of like what your mom had said, like that reminded me that my mom always did push through, that you had to have, like, you had to pray on it and have faith in God. And if it was meant to happen, it was going to happen.
Boom, drop mic. Episode's over. We're done. That's it. Let the church say amen. Okay, but I guess not. Go ahead, Wesley.
I mean, there's not really much to say about me.
Now that Lena D just dropped the mic on you.
Well, yeah, that. And I mean, like, as I mentioned before, both my parents passed away at a young age. Lived with my
Where
aunt.
was they from? Where was they from?
Oh, they're from Haiti. Yeah, ça passe.
What up? Not Boulay. What up?
Malade. Anyway. So, anyway, lived with my aunt for 10 years. We fought like cats and dogs. Not leading D. But Maddie knows about some of those episodes. Yeah, that was life. That was life. Oh, and basically being self-sufficient, I guess. Yeah, I can cook and do my own laundry and not really depend on a woman to do any of that for me. So
What?
kudos to being
That's
self-sufficient and all that cool stuff, and being intelligent and not being crazy like her.
Okay, she didn't teach you that. You just learned that on your own.
No, yeah, I learned that on my own. Yeah.
Was there anything that she would say to you that would kind of like
That's
drilled into you and like made you even more determined to be independent?
She told me I was an idiot all the time, but
Okay.
I mean, that's
well.
but-
I guess that's one way to.
Yeah.
That's one way to like
yeah,
inspire
to
confidence.
inspire any confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, you came out the way you did.
Yeah, I did. Pretty much a jackass who's smart, but
I meant more so the smart part.
look.
We can't all be winners.
Yes, we can. We are all winners. Motherfucker, crazy as hell.
All right. So, as we think about our upbringings and we think about our culture and the roles that it played, I guess we wanted to focus on some of the pillars and the influences that it had on us growing up and now, and possibly on our future children, our siblings, nieces, nephews, whatever the case might be. And one of the pillars that we thought about was dating. So I wanted to see what you guys got from your parents.
Don't date.
Oh.
Sex is bad.
Wow.
Sex is for the devil. You better
What?
You better hit those books and hit them hard, and don't depend on women for anything. That's not bad advice,
Holy
actually.
cow.
Yeah, basically. You know who she is.
Okay.
Like, you need to stop. Like, you
Okay,
acting
yeah,
like
but
you're
she
shocked.
raised me. I don't know all this.
Yeah, like why you acting so shocked for? Like, she was all about like, you need to get your education, blah blah blah, education, blah blah blah. You can't play outside, education, blah blah blah. Had to sneak out and have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That was life.
I mean, I guess and you know my mom.
Yeah.
So it was similar in terms of.
But she was
I never-
nicer.
Oh yeah, she was much to you. Shit.
She was like, to you?
They always nicer to the people outside of the house.
How does that work?
What?
Like, because my dad was like the opposite. So like my dad was always very much, we had the nicest things. And then like the aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff, like they couldn't even come into the house sometimes. Like my dad would be like, this is an outdoor party. They're not allowed inside. So like it was kind of like the opposite, where like my dad always was like super protective of the nice things for us. And then he didn't want anybody else like up in the living room, like their feet on the couch.
Oh no, that's the same way. Except that in Haitian households, like when you go in like their living rooms and stuff,
It's covered
like,
in plastic.
It's covered either in laminate plastic or it's covered in sheets. I don't know. Do you remember the time
I do
you came to
remember the
house?
sheets.
It was like
Yeah.
sheets over the
I
leather
think
couch.
she's the only person whose house I've ever been to that has sheets.
Yeah.
She was just weird. Everyone else that I've been to,
Yeah.
it's been like
laminate plastic.
and that hard plastic where if you sit on it in the summertime,
Yeah, like, you'll
it
stick to it.
peels off.
You screaming and stuff.
Don't ever be sweaty sitting on those couches. But I don't know why she has sheets.
And then I hate it like, I hate it. I have to like salute everybody. I mean, sorry. I have to like
greet.
say hi to greet everybody. I hated that. Like I couldn't walk in and just go to my room. If there are people there, I had to like greet every
individual.
But that's
person.
every
like
individual.
No.
No.
So within.
I don't think you understand.
Yo, shout out to my Haitians because y'all know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But for instance, if I was to walk in here right now and there was you, Wesley, and 3 other people, and I was a child, I had to greet each and every one of you individually by walking up to you, kissing you on the cheek.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't a matter of like now, because now I'm disrespectful. I don't care. I walk in, I say hello.
Yeah.
And make eye
Like,
contact,
hi.
and I keep it pushing.
Peace out.
But growing up, if you did that, they would snatch you up so quick. But we digress.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's the same thing in my household. It was like you have to go saludar a tu tía and like do this.
Oh, and it
kiss her on
sounds the same
cheek,
too.
and it's not like it's you still have to do it. And like now, I know we're digressing, but I have to say this. Sometimes my mom will be like current day, like if I come and visit her out in Long Island, whatever, she'll be on the phone and she'll be like, oh, Lina D está aquí. And then all of a sudden be like, oh, here, your aunt wants to talk to you. And I'm just like, bruh, like, I don't want to talk to her.
Yeah, they
happens.
do that to us
and
too.
what I love is always that it's somebody that's in another country, normally Haiti, and they only speak Creole, and my Creole is horrible.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hello? Yeah.
And granted, when like myself and Maddie were growing up, like my Creole was so much better than hers. It was way better. I could talk and write. I can barely talk now, like because
you have to practice it.
Yeah, that's the thing because I went to college. I hadn't been anybody who was like speaking Creole, so it was super hard. And by the time I got out, like it was all bad. I mean, I can understand it all.
Bad.
I can understand it now, but I mean, back then, I was a force to be reckoned with. I could translate, I could do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, I hated you. I still hate you just for that. Anyway, but again, we keep digressing. Jeez.
It's our upbringing. It's so hard when we start talking about it.
We're so awesome. Okay, so your aunt was just like, no dating. My mom similarly was like, no dating. The biggest influence, although I grew up and was raised for the first, I'd say first 10 or so years of my life in the Catholic Church, my mom converted to a Protestant religion. And that's when she started really pushing it and those beliefs on me. So that's when religion started playing a bigger part. And at that point, it was a matter of God said this is bad, and the Lord said this, and this. She never gave a really good explanation besides God won't be happy if you do this. So it was always a matter of education is more important. Boys will come later was her favorite thing. She's just like, if you're smart and you become successful and you have all of this stuff and you have it for yourself, then you'll meet a guy later on down the road. Still waiting, Mom. But
my aunt was pretty racial. She was very racial. I don't like that.
You talking about my mom?
No. Like my aunt. She's very
racial. What was I say? No, she wasn't.
Nah. My aunt's pretty
My mom knew I was down for the swirl from jump.
Yeah.
my first crush was on a white boy.
Oh,
she was just like, here she go.
Yeah, she's very racial. She's like, oh, why don't you marry a nice
Oh,
Haitian
she
girl?
definitely did. Yeah. She used to hate so hard.
She was hating.
I
was just like, you know what? You need to chill out, relax.
You're like, don't be concerned.
My
I'll
choices
be fine.
ain't about you.
Yeah.
So
my grandmother she was an interesting, like, she had an interesting perspective, even though she was like super religious, like I was saying. So, and I think like her entire thing was always about having faith in God and like praying and being respectful and like being devout. But even in how she lived her life, she wasn't like the poster child of Christianity or Catholicism or being super religious. Well, she went to a private Catholic school in El Salvador. And when she was, I think, 19 years old, she met my grandpa. But he is 20 years older than her.
20?
20.
Oh, shit.
He already had a family.
Oh, damn.
And basically, she was kind of like the other woman, but
side piece has no name. Damn, man.
but he left the rest of his family to be with her and spent the rest of his life with her until he passed away. So
it's one of those times where it's just like, do you cheer? Like, yeah, the side piece won because we know you.
Yeah. No, but it was interesting because like she would still always say like, you know, it's important for you to value yourself. Like you're a young woman, like you need to like take care of yourself and like don't like she would never say like sex is bad because like the word sex would never come out of her mouth.
Oh, wow.
Like she would say like have relations or like, you know, maybe he was a little affectionate and a little bit more physical than normal. Like she would always like tiptoe around it, right? So she would never like outright say sex. Like those words never came out of her mouth in front of me ever. And but at the same time she would say like certain things. So like I remember when she met Wesley for the first time. And I wouldn't say that she wasn't racist or racial or anything.
She just said
but she
Can you let Lena D tell her story? You had your time.
It's fucking hilarious.
But she would always like, I think she kind of had like it's like she had a perspective of how she was raised, but she was like better than her time. So she was able to be more progressive, but she still wanted to hold on to some of the core values that she grew up with. So she was like, well, you know, in my time, like it was always about like dating like the fairer skinned guys and like that was valued a little bit more. But you know, I remember there was this morenito that like if I could have had my way with him, I would have.
Oh, shoot. All right, Granny.
So like that's kind of like how she was. So like that to me was, I think it really played a role in my life because it showed me that you don't necessarily have to be 100% like aligned or like woven to a way of thinking. Like you can adopt certain pieces of whether it's a religion or a faith or a way of thinking and then make it your own. Because I pretty much felt like she had made her life her own. Like she wasn't like this super religious person from like, you know, I would never sin because obviously she did sin by being with a man that was already married. But that's how our family came about.
Yeah.
So I felt like she always like pretty much owned what she did. So that was always very like inspirational to me. And even though this word sex never came out of her mouth, but at least what she had done told me that you don't have to be married before you have sex, because obviously she had sex before she got married because they got married after like she got pregnant and stuff. Okay. But then my mom was like the complete opposite. She's like, no, you have to wait till marriage. So because she grew up in a very like Catholic upbringing because of my grandmother, but it was different because for her it was like what the gospel said, like that's what she did.
That's true, yeah.
So it was a very different perspective. So like my mom was like, no, you have to wait until you get married. You can't be like, she had this saying that's basically you can't be like fucking the string around. So like the clit was like a string, and like her saying is that in Spanish it's dale virote a la hilacha. So like, so she's like, you can't be like screwing around and stuff. Like you have to be focused. So she was kind of like very much anti like sex and stuff. But obviously I didn't listen to the whole waiting till marriage part. So.
Yeah, my mom was the same in terms of waiting till marriage. There was no ifs, ands, or buts around that one. It was you're supposed to wait. And if you don't, you're going to hell. And I was like, all right, cool.
I'll take that.
No, I'm not going to front. Okay. Honestly speaking, I was very intent on trying to just because of how I was raised. I'm the oldest. My brother came 11 years after I was born.
Okay.
So I was very much the only child. And even now, I'm still the only child. I don't care what he say. No.
Only child syndrome.
I mean, you can't pop somebody up that late in the game and be like, hey, you're not the only. Yes, I am. I'm an adult now.
At 11.
Yes. But by 11, you've already formed like who you are in this family unit. But because of that, and because it was so long where it was just me and her, I was always trying very hard to make and keep her happy. Because it's just like, that was it. So it's like, I have to do everything that she wants to make her happy, and everything that she says is gospel.
Man, she
and
was cool.
To you. And I can't divert from that.
I mean,
so
should we
like,
tell them like who like your aunt and my aunt are? Like they're both sisters, clearly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then okay, so basically, in a nutshell, just so I don't want.
I think we talked. Oh, well, we talked about
we
in the
never
past,
said
like
no,
we're cousins.
Yeah, we're cousins. But like,
and that's how
but
maternal.
Maddie's mom is actually my aunt and my godmother. So
yeah. So she has to be cool with you.
Yeah, she cool.
Anyway,
she always asks me when I'm getting married. I'm like, she don't get the stable response I give everybody else. Because she's my godmother.
You love her.
Yeah, I love her. I'll be like, when I get the money, you paying for this wedding?
Yo, that's a whole nother side story. I'm gonna tell you this later on.
Wait, what? Okay.
About her asking me that. But no, but I was very intent on trying to wait till marriage, and I don't know. I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, this ain't gonna happen. So at the very least, let me not be a stereotype and not be 16 and pregnant. Because, you know, when we were growing up, 16 and pregnant was like the worst of the worst.
You going back to Haiti. That's what that is.
Yo, for real. For real.
You get a girl pregnant, you going back to Haiti. You pregnant, you going back to Haiti.
You got in a fight at school, you going back to Haiti.
Yep.
Like, they try to send us back to Haiti for everything. It's like, you can't send me back somewhere if I was born here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just shut up because you're going to find a way.
How you going to go back somewhere you never been at?
That's a challenge. They're
and they would.
They'll find it.
Yeah, that's why I never challenged her. I
One way ticket.
But you made me lose my train of thought because they definitely threatened us so much.
They threatened us with everything.
Haiti.
Belt,
See, I never
stick.
got threatened. I just got hit with a belt.
Oh no, we got both. We got hit. But after that, because they kept talking after they beat us and while they were beating us, so the follow up to the beating was, I should just send your ass back to Haiti. And it's like, you can't send me back. But you would think it really hard because if you said it, it would just start up the beating again. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying. I just wanted to wait until I was at least, my thing was I have to be out of my first year of college before I'm willing to have sex. And then I had all these stipulations about who it was going to be and all this stuff. And like, I just don't want to have any regrets around it. So I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to like stick to everything that she said. Let me at least do it according to these rules that I've set and these parameters. And yeah, we talked about that in the first episode. I did it. I was going 17 after my first year of college. Thankfully, I started college early, so I could
started
do
early.
That.
Yeah, you started early. That was like you got a little jump start
Pretty
on the
much.
timeline.
Okay. Next up. Ooh. Gender roles.
Oh, this one's a fun one.
Yes. So with me, if you know anything about the Haitian culture, and I think it's a lot, you see this a lot in a lot of the Caribbean and maybe South American cultures as well, is they're very patriarchal. So it was, in terms of gender roles, my mom was very adamant about me being the domestic housewife type. Fix your face. If y'all could see Wesley's face right now. But
that's not true. Is it? For real? I never saw that.
Maybe because you were a man.
Because you were able to sleep in when on Saturday mornings, okay?
Oh yeah, I was watching Power Rangers.
Yeah, you were watching Power Rangers.
Where was Maddie?
Where was Maddie? Maddie was cooking and cleaning and doing the laundry and doing all the stuff. I was up a solid like 2 hours before you were.
Oh, that's fucked up.
But I still did work too.
Like what?
Some.
Watch Power Rangers?
But it wasn't as ingrained. How many times was I watching Power Rangers with you? Almost never.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, look at you. He's thinking about it. He's like, oh shit.
But I remember having to do chores too.
Yeah, you had to do chores, but it wasn't ingrained on you and pressed on you in the same way that it was on me. Like, for real, I had to, Saturday mornings, it was there was no cartoons. I could have the cartoons on, but if the cartoons were on, I wasn't sitting in front of the TV watching. I was cleaning up the entire house. Before noon, the entire house had to be cleaned, like top to bottom. And if she was going to be cooking that day, then the food had to be prepped. If it was like the meat had to be cleaned and seasoned and marinating so that by the time she got home, she would cook until I was old enough to cook. And then I think I started learning how to cook when I was like 8. It was like, okay, you're going to stand here and you're going to watch me cook. And then one day you'll take over. And one day this will be yours.
Like, one day you will cook.
Simba, Mufasa.
Everything that the light hits.
Everything that the oil hits.
Exactly. But watch out when you're trying to fry some plantain, because that shit burns. No, but seriously, like, I had to know how to cook, and it was constantly, a man is never going to marry you if you can't do this. A man is never going to marry if you can't cook. A man is never going to marry you if you can't clean. A man is never going to marry you.
Like that, I shouldn't even be dependent on a woman to do anything, which is true. Like,
and that's true, and I can tell you that's not common.
I'm very selfish
for a lot of.
Well, what are you looking at me for?
Oh shoot! And by looking at, he's talking about Lena D, not me, y'all. I'm gonna just let you know.
Don't mistake laziness for being self-sufficient. That's like
When was the last time you did laundry?
Ooh, y'all getting personal right now. Mama always said.
Okay, so here we go. No, I'm gonna answer this question. So I'm gonna answer this question to all the listeners out there. One time, I did all the laundry, both our laundries. Like
that one time,
it was literally in like 2012.
Yeah, it was 2012. But
it is now 2018.
The reason why. No. Hear me out. Like, so I did all the laundry. I folded everything. The mistake that I did was that I like dried some sparkly pants of hers or whatever.
It was
not the sparkly pants.
Yeah, the sparkles fell off.
Yeah, some of the sparkles fell off. So she gave me such a huge tongue lashing that whole night that like I was just traumatized.
You never
again. I was like, I'll do my own, but I'm not touching your clothes. Like from here on out, you on your own with this. So I never did it again. I was like, I'm good. I'm cool on this. No laundry for both of us. I'm not doing laundry ever again.
He hasn't done laundry since 2012.
Yeah, because it was so bad.
He doesn't even do his own laundry.
I was about to say, he doesn't do your laundry, or he doesn't do either of yours.
He doesn't do either laundry. He expects like that the laundry just gets done.
It just miraculously gets done.
You know that you know that Kevin Hart joke where he's just like, oh, I asked if she wants some juice, and then she said she didn't want no juice, and then I give her the juice, and then whatever happens, like and then he gets all mad. He's like,
because she has her juice.
Sipping my goddamn juice. You don't need no juice. Like and then she's like, oh, I didn't want the whole thing. No, but that's the problem, right? Like.
I just need y'all to understand that this is not relationship counseling right now.
Yeah, it's not really.
I'm just saying that, like, you should probably get back.
Can you just start doing some laundry?
No, I ain't doing laundry. I ain't trying to get like, you dry my goddamn pants. The hell you doing?
Well, then just don't dry them.
So what am I supposed to do? Not dry anything?
No, stuff gets hung up.
Read the labels.
Exactly.
The labels tell you.
I'm gonna read every label out of. You see these clothes back there?
Actually, that is something my mom would like. So you're talking about like they used to keep you up or like used to wake you up early to cook.
Oh, so butt crack of dawn.
Yep. I didn't have to do all that, and like my mom was like not about like the whole patriarchy, but she was just like, you better like take over, like be able to take care of yourself because I'm not gonna be doing this forever. So with the laundry shit, I always had to like help her with laundry, and that was so annoying.
It was boring.
Yeah, I had to help with everything.
It was like so annoying.
I hated it because all I wanted to do when I was a kid going to the laundromat was go, and back then in the laundromats they had like little arcade games to go play. I didn't want to go play Street Fighter. Man, I got yanked out of that room so fast. Whop! You better come help me with this laundry. Come fold it. Like, fuck.
Folding them sheets though.
I hated that, especially the fitted sheets.
Yes,
a nightmare.
I already know.
All right, we've digressed way off base.
But
from Haitian culture, but it's kind of related at the same time.
Yeah, no, in terms of gender roles. So for me, it was, this is what a woman should do. What was interesting though is although she wanted me to be the perfect housewife, there was never an expectation for me to actually be a housewife. Again, because education was so important, she was just like, you shouldn't rely on a man for anything. True. If one comes along, cool. But you should be able to, or you should be educated enough to have a job, a good job that you're able to take care of yourself and have your own opinions. Like, you can be outspoken. Don't let any man tell you who you are, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to act, or any of that. Essentially, she was like, don't let a man do it, but I can do it. is what she said.
Basically.
Yeah, like, I think as far as, like, gender roles, like, my parents never really put up any of, like, oh, you're a woman, you have to do this, or, oh, you're not a man, you can't do this. It was very much more around, like, a personality and, like, I would see, like, my mom would preach a certain type of personality, but then she wouldn't act like that necessarily, but, like, my dad would embody that personality. So, for example, like, my mom would, at the time, she didn't speak English very well. So whenever she had a question or a complaint, she'd have me call them and talk to them. But I'd be like this 6-7-year-old trying to, like, act like an adult.
Oh, I hated that shit.
And negotiate all this stuff for my mom based on, like, what my dad had said and what she had said. And I used to hate it. And I'd be like, Mom, why can't you just learn English?
You're rude as hell. I gotta slap shit out of you.
They would have sent your ass back to El Salvador if you were in my family.
I gotta slap shit out of you. All right, well, what the hell? My daughter, what the hell?
And then she would be like, ¿qué? Like, she's like, you're going to do this if you want to do blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, fine. So I would do it. And I remember hating it so much. But there came a point where I was just like, wait, I've been doing this all of my life. Like, why don't I do this more to, like, get, like, a higher salary or to get other benefits from work that they don't necessarily put on the table, or to complain where, like, the car company screws up and decides that they want to give us a car that has piss on the driver's seat. So
that's a real life story, by the way. That's a real story, but keep going. Continue.
But so
That's
anyway,
for another day.
Or, like, when the McDonald's or the Shake Shack fucks up my order, like,
true story.
I am not shy about going back and saying, when I pay you, there is an expectation. This was the expectation. You have not met it. This is why I am owed now in order for you to make up for it.
See, I'm not that. I'm 0 to 100. I'm like, you get this or you get motherfucker.
So
what is wrong with you?
And so, like, it was all because my mom used to, like, first of all, make me call all these, like, companies and, like, do shit for her. But she also had this saying that she would always tell me, because I was a lot more, like, it was a lot shyer when I was younger. And she was like, closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't say something, nobody's going to know how you're feeling or what you want or if you were done wrong. So you have to do it. But then she wouldn't always necessarily act that way. Like, she kind of played, like, she showed me gender roles in action. So, like, depending on who she was talking to, so if she was talking to another woman, she would be very vocal and open.
Okay.
If she was talking to a man, she wouldn't.
Oh, wow.
So, like, that's kind of where I started seeing it. And then my dad would be the complete opposite. So he would always just, like, say whatever the hell was on his mind to anybody. And I was like, oh, okay. So
I like that one better.
I was like, I like that because it's consistent. So it was like, it was never preached on me until, like, and the only thing was, like, the whole closed mouths don't get fed, as well as, like, you have to be self-sufficient. So whether it's in your education or whether you don't know something, you better research it and look it up. Like, lazy is not the way, like, all this stuff. So, like, that's kind of how it was reinforced. And then there was one time where I remember that they got upset. There was, like, some guy that I was dating, and he ended up not
Wesley,
like, ended up, like, not helping me with a bag or something, or I was carrying a bag, like a heavy, like, luggage bag and, like, loading it. And my dad was like, oh, that's fucked up that he's not helping you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's my bag. I packed it. I can lift what I packed. Like, I wouldn't pack more than I can lift, because then therefore I can't move the bag by myself.
Nope, screw that.
So then it was just, like, one of those moments where it really got me upset, because I felt like what they had taught me, they were trying to dismiss, to try to put on this, like, gender role now that I was, like, in my 20s. And I had to set them straight on that. I was just like, well, no, like, you taught me better than this. You taught me that I needed to be self-sufficient. So no, I don't expect like my boyfriend or a man or anybody to be able to do stuff that I'm just supposed to do on my own. So that's kind of like my story there, and kind of talks to my very vocal nature and not taking no as an answer many times.
I dig it. I like it. Wesley?
I got nothing.
What?
Got nothing.
How you have nothing?
Got nothing.
Well, you talked about like the whole not needing women.
Not what me?
Not needing women. So like,
mean,
how
like-
has that kind of played a role with how you've made decisions in your adult life?
I think that's really interesting, though, especially coming from the same family, how they would
I see. I'm not trying to put
throw
all the shit
all
out
of this
there.
on me of what a woman should be
Yeah.
and not on you.
They didn't really. I mean, they just expect me to be a doctor because I was really good with like identifying body parts and stuff. But
That's a leg. You should be a doctor, sir.
yeah.
What the hell?
Cause my aunt was doing her physical therapy program, and I would help her study, and then I was just really good at doing it. They're like, "Oh, you should be a doctor."
Yo, she used to hustle the shit out of us. You know, she made me write a paper once.
Plenty of times I've had to do that.
We got her through that program. This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, we got through that program. I used to have to type all her reports.
I used to write the reports.
Yeah,
Yo, it's some old bullshit.
so
I was definitely in like junior high with my freaking biomed classes,
yep,
writing papers for this physical therapy program, and she got A's.
Damn.
yep.
That's why they all thought we were both going to be doctors. And we're like, man, fuck
They were
No.
They were actually trying to make you like lead you in that direction.
Yeah, but I didn't want to be a doctor.
Oh no, I wanted to be Doogie Howser. If you guys remember the show,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
I was like, that's why I was so intent on graduating early, because I was just like, shit, I'm behind the curve. Doogie Howser was already in, like
hospital.
he was already in the hospital, and I'm still in junior high. Like, guys, gotta catch up. And then I got to college, and I was like, man, fuck this shit. I don't want to be a doctor.
I was just like 7 years of school. Plus, you got to specialize. I'm fucking good. The PhD ain't worth it. It's not worth it. I'm good.
But this does also lead into my other pillar, which was career. And
Oh yeah, I got something on.
Go ahead then.
Go ahead.
Share
I'm gonna let
it.
you start on that one.
All right, cool. So like in Haitian culture, you can be a couple of things. You can't be broke, and you can't not have an education. That's one way out the door.
Unacceptable.
That's unacceptable, man. You're gonna get your ass whooped every day by the leather belt. You have to be a doctor. You gotta be a lawyer,
Or
I forgot what the third one is. That's it. You can't really be an engineer because it's like
I think it's in our family in particular, they were just like,
Mm.
but you could be an engineer. It was lawyer, doctor, engineer, nurse. Anything in the medical field was acceptable.
Yeah,
And by medical field, I mean doctor or nurse. That was it.
that was really
You couldn't be a dentist.
yeah. You probably that's a doctor.
I feel like maybe
Yeah.
you could have pushed for
No,
that.
you could do that because that's like
But we don't have
You
any
still-
dentists in the
that's-
family.
that's still medical stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say yeah.
So
But-
could
You
you
still
be a
get called
vet?
doctor.
A vet?
Ooh, I
Yeah,
think
you
that's
could be a
pushing.
vet. No, you could be a vet
Who's a vet? Who we know that's a
because
vet?
one of
Well, that's one of my friends
Yeah.
from undergrad.
yeah, she's
so
a
she's
vet.
Haitian.
She's
and
Haitian
she's
too.
a vet.
She's a vet,
Okay.
and she living the good life. Yeah, but
But that's so funny because her sister is a lawyer.
yeah, it's just
Exactly. Now you still you were joking. You thought we were joking.
Remember what I said? Like another episode, I said it's not gonna be the first generation kids that can do the art and artsy kind of creative kind of work. It's gonna be our generation that leads to the next generation that's gonna be able to do that
Yeah.
shit. Like if my kid says, "Hey, I want to be a pianist," great, be the best pianist you can be. If I were to say I want to be a pianist, that shit ain't happening. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You want to write music? You want to write notes? You better write the mathematical notes.
I don't
on
even
the
know what
board.
accent that is.
Yeah, that's what they said.
But it was I mean, we're in the same family. For me, especially being the oldest and the girl, I lived that Mulan life where it's just like I have to bring honor to the family. And it was just like, if you do anything to dishonor the family, you're dead to us, was essentially how it was.
See,
and like you said, anything artistic was not encouraged at all. Even like, you couldn't even think about it. Like, if they saw you just staring off into space, smiling, you got in trouble, because it's like, what the hell are you thinking about? Clearly it's not math, because you wouldn't be that happy. Like,
oh my God.
That it was just that serious. Like, it had to be. And luckily, I wanted to be a doctor growing up, so I didn't get too much pushback until I got to college. Not until I got to high school, because I was very much into neuroscience. So I was like, I don't know if I want to be a doctor so much as I'm just interested in human emotions and just how it all works and how everything breaks down. So it's like, maybe I want to be like a psychologist. I told my mom this, and she was like, "Oh, what?" And I was like, "A psychologist is still a doctor." No, absolutely not.
Oh my God.
She was just like, "Nope, that's not."
They be hating on the dreams. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's hardcore.
And then when I truly broke her heart in college, my junior year of college, I changed my major from a bio major to accounting. And she was like, "You did what?" And I was like, "I'm not going to be a doctor anymore." To this day, she's just like, you can still be a doctor. You were only a few credits short of getting into med school. Like, I'm not woman, I am in a legit career with a good company, with a good salary. Like, what is wrong with you? She's like, "But it's not a doctor though."
Damn.
I hate when they press me about money. Like, I hate that shit. Because you feel like you got to give them some.
Oh.
Yeah, give them some money. I don't be liking that. I'd be like, that's why I be staying away.
That's a whole different.
I'm just like, man.
That's just a whole different ballgame.
I don't think so. I work too hard to come up off these pockets.
All right.
Yeah, I think like career isn't as pressed. Like, it's always about, you have to do something to make sure that you can make a living. But they're always very flexible in what that is. It was more about the education, because the point of view with my upbringing, at least, was like, as long as you have an education and you have your degree, no one can take that away from you. Mm-hmm. And as a person, you should be intelligent and adept enough to basically mold yourself into the situation so that no matter what you face, you can get out of it. It's not based on a profession or any specific like title. It's more based on like, how smart can you be to make the situation work for you at that current time. So like, I saw that with my dad growing up, where like, he's a mechanic and he's always worked at different body shops in Long Island. But what he saw was that in his field, it was like, you were either body work or you were engine work. And most people that do engine work don't do body work. And same as the flip, like if you do body work, you don't do engine work. Mm-hmm. So he learned both. Mm. And so he does both very well. So his entire career, since, as long as I remember, he is able to negotiate whatever he wants, because he has a skill set that most people would have to hire two individuals for to do.
Boom, 2 in 1. Let's go.
So he's always been like, well, you just have to be smart enough to position yourself in a way. And like, there's so many times that like, he's just legit quit a job on the spot because he's very hot-headed. And the next day he has like 2 or 3 offers.
That's crazy. That's awesome though.
And he's been able to do that consistently in the past like 25 years that I've known. So like, that type of like attitude and determination and confidence that he has in himself, mm-hmm. It wasn't about like, oh, you have to get this degree. It's like, you have to get a degree. And then you better work your ass off. Oh, and you have to get a master's.
See, that's what I would instill if I have kids. Like, be the best insert career here that you can be. But I think I have the flexibility to do that. Yeah, I didn't have that. You see, that wasn't instilled in us. Like they were just like doctor, lawyer, maybe engineer, but anything besides that, you got to pay this rent. It's due on the 1st. utilities due on the 15th.
I honestly feel like a big part of that, like looking back on it now, is that's what they knew would be guaranteed. Like they felt if you were a doctor, you were guaranteed to have a job. If you were an attorney, you're guaranteed to have a job. You would never have to struggle. You would never get to a point where you were laid off and then laid off for months on end. And it's just like, oh my God, what do I do? I think they just always wanted to have that certainty for us, because I think all of us are like, our parents came from somewhere else. Our parents came from another country here, and they might not necessarily have had the same opportunities that we had. So it's like they wanted us to take full advantage of what we did, but not below what they considered below the opportunity by taking some career path that they didn't know was going to guarantee us anything.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of was scary for, I think I could speak for our family, like myself and Wesley, for our family, because both of our families were in the medical field in some way. There's very few people within our family that you would meet that aren't in the medical field, whether they're a doctor, a nurse, or something.
Yeah, man.
My mom was, pathologist.
A lab technician or a lab specialist or something like that.
Yeah, all of them are going to be something within. If you walk into a hospital, half our family is going to be in there at some different department doing something. But they knew that it was certain and it was guaranteed. It's like whether I'm working at a hospital or I'm working at a nursing home or I'm doing this, but they was just like, I know I could take this career path and be fine. So I want to have that for you also. I don't want you to have to struggle the same way I did. But by being so stern, they robbed us of the opportunity to try to explore more. And when we did try to explore, it's like we were the rebels. We were rebels without a cause. Yeah, and I could totally understand my mom being like, so you're a black woman who wants to work in this white male dominated field. And I'm like, yeah, what up?
Yeah.
So she's going to be like, this girl is crazy. But she also knows the woman that she raised. So she's like, yo, if Maddie says this is what she's going to do, I guess she's going to make it happen.
See, my aunt had no faith in me. So it was so much easier to like just say, look, I'm not being a doctor. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be whatever you want me to be. I'm going to be what I want to be. And if you don't like that, kick rocks.
Okay, I also didn't say it like that.
I wouldn't say all that.
I didn't say it.
But you
like
always
that.
talk to the same person who pushed his aunt. So, like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like
you're talking to the same person that did that too.
it's just like it can be very constraining. So like what I at least appreciated, and my mom was the same way. So like my mom was like super creative. Like she's really good with her hands. She makes like a lot of arts and crafts. She does like baking and cooking. So like a lot of times like she's been entrepreneurial in her own way of like either selling the stuff that she makes or like making cakes and selling them and stuff. So she was very fostering of me learning a lot of what she did, but then me also learning everything that I could, like from school or from my dad or whatever. So I think like their objective was like, as long as you have an education and then you're well-rounded, then you can do whatever you kind of want. But we still expect you to be ambitious and like want to do the best ever. So like the one thing that I haven't said is like being mediocre was never an option. So if I ever came around with the 98, she'd be like, where's the other 2 points? Like, she's like, why didn't you get 100?
Oh, that was
or like why
standard.
Like it's like you need the 100. So like, are you gonna do this extra credit? Or like, what is this B? What is this? Like,
you gotta be. You gotta be and lived.
No, but she's still living.
No, well, like not like in a class. Like I would get it like on a quiz or something, and then like
and lived.
But so like that was like the other thing. Like it was never like that was unacceptable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like even though like some of the stuff like I wouldn't like what I would do differently as a parent or what I did do differently with my younger siblings was be very open about sex and like be very open about giving advice and like things that they should watch out for. Like that's something that I wish like my family had done because they never even wanted to talk about sex. But the other stuff that I would keep is definitely like just having faith, and like it doesn't have to necessarily be like the Catholic gods or like the Virgin Mary or any of the deities that like I grew up worshiping, but like at least just having faith that you can get shit done and like having sort of like this greater thing that you believe in. Because I think when you get into like really hard situations and like you're trying to push through, like whether it's college or whether it's like getting into your master's program or like trying to figure out corporate life, like you always get into these situations that sometimes you need to take a step back and really tap into like the stuff that makes you tick as a human and like what gives you faith and like makes you happy outside of like the day to day. Like that's something that I would definitely keep because I feel like even though I'm not a religious person, it's something that I've kept with me since I was young, and it's really helped me in how I deal with situations.
I dig it. I would say somewhere along those same lines for me. I mean, based on everything, I wouldn't say it was all bad because I think I came out to be a pretty spectacular person, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sort of like that. I think I turned out great in spite of stuff that's happened in my family. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd say like in terms of
Maddie's more optimistic about our family members than I am, if you haven't guessed.
It's not even that, it's about what I've taken from it.
Yeah.
And again, we weren't as close growing up. Like there's stuff that you don't even know like about my mom where you're like, she was what? Like, boy, I can tell you some shit. But it didn't. I think that's just the person I am in general, where I'm just like, I'm always gonna look for the good. I'm always gonna look for the silver lining.
Nah, I was talking I'm looking at all evil right now.
Okay. So anyway, in terms of the advice that I would take, it would be
I live this
honestly,
evil lifestyle.
And y'all already know how I am. Like this in terms of me being celibate. I would keep and also share the waiting to have sex. What I would change about that is the reason. And it's similar to what you said. It's just having an open conversation. Mm-hmm. Because it's one thing to be like, don't have sex. But I think it's a whole nother conversation where you're like, maybe you should wait to have sex till you find the right person. And don't just jump into it because like the feeling is right and in the moment. Because looking back, I mean, in terms of the first time I had it, it was just like, I'm still cool. This is somebody I'm still cool with.
Yeah.
And remember, I said I put all of these, I have this whole checklist where it's just like, the first time I have sex, it has to be like this, with this kind of person, this, and this. But this wasn't something that my mom told me. I was just like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because like for the next generation, I would be like, wait, and here's why you should wait. And this is what you should be looking for. It's not always going to be easy to wait until marriage. Not going to front. There are people that do it. Hats off to them. Super happy for you.
Shout out to Lolo Jones.
It wasn't me, but I can see why it's important. The other thing would be there's nothing wrong with learning how to cook, ladies.
Yeah, for real. It does not make you less of a person.
I work
if
with
you don't know how to
really
cook.
does not.
It really doesn't.
I tend to like volunteer with younger girls, and there are just so many of them who do not know how to even boil water. And I'm like, your mama didn't teach you how to cook anything? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, look, this isn't even about doing this for a man.
It's about
you living. Do you know how expensive takeout is all the time? And that's just not good for you.
Expensive.
Like, just learn how to cook something simple. Just your three go-to meals.
Seamless is expensive, guys.
Hell yeah. And Uber Eats is what, $4.99 just for delivery? That is ridiculous.
Bruh.
Do you know how many? I can't buy much
Coupon
groceries
codes.
with $4.99, but still.
You get pizza rolls for $4.99.
But you know what I liked what you
Yeah,
said?
she's like, okay.
Maddie, you know what I liked about what you said about the open conversation? But even what I think is even more impactful when you're younger is to have like an example. So like you're my mom. What did you do in this situation? Like,
Yeah.
And like that was something that was like never talked about.
I don't know what my mom first had. Like not that I was asking her, but I don't know. Like,
Well,
think I
all
would
I
wanna
know,
know.
all I know is that she waited until marriage. But like, I would have loved to
she
hear,
did.
like, oh well, were you tempted, or like, how did you deal with the temptation?
Yes.
And like, you know, like if you had friends that were doing it, like, what made you not want to do it too? Like, so I think it's like those examples are so powerful when someone doesn't really have the experience, and especially as like your child. So like that's also stuff that
because just telling them don't do it is not enough. And I'm just like, okay, you're just a parent trying to tell me what to do, and I'm not going to listen to you because you're whack.
whack.
But you see that a lot with a lot of like younger people where they're just like, I'm going to just do it just because my parent told me not to do it. Even growing up, I knew kids that were just like, yeah, my mom told me not to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But more power to you. But if I feel like if we had that open dialogue, it would have been like, yo.
That open dialogue's never going to happen.
Okay, not with our parents, but that's what I'm saying for the next generation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's what I would, we're talking about what we would do differently.
What would you
Something
do
I would
with
do
your
differently.
next generation?
In terms of what?
Anything.
I mean, anything.
Any of the things that we just discussed.
I don't know. Follow through on promises. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, a lot of promises being broken.
Okay, now you're just.
What do you mean? No, like we're saying like what?
As like,
It's like
you're
mad
asking me like
personal.
what? Like it's not personal, but I'm just like some kids like they be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get this blah blah. And I'm gonna get to spend time with like my aunt or my uncle or whoever taking care of me. And then like they get home and it's just like, oh, big letdown. They're not home. They said they would spend some time with me. We're gonna have some fun, and it didn't happen.
Okay, yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
not
talking
something
about.
that you could really.
I would say like.
Well, I think you're saying that what you would make sure to do with like the younger generation is to dedicate the time to them.
Yeah, of course. Most
and so like
definitely.
you would keep your promises.
Yes,
Is what you're saying.
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
Another thing that I would do. Oh, is talk more. I pull him out of school every once in a while. I'd be like, you want to go to the basketball game with your old man? Sure, Dad. I do that once in a while. I just surprise my kids and be like, yeah, I'm going to take them out for the rest of the day. We're going to have some fun. Don't tell Mom, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lena D, when your kids show up with those 73s.
It's like, where are you coming from?
Oh, nowhere, Mom.
Well, you know, Wesley Jr. missed about 60% of the school year.
60%.
Do that? That's crazy.
Wesley
I said once in a
Senior.
while. I literally said once in a while in the beginning of this whole thing. I said once in a while, not every day. Shit. I gotta work
Twice
too.
a week. He would pull them out early.
I gotta make money too. I gotta take care of your snotty ass.
Dang, okay.
Jeez, don't insult the future kids.
Man, kids have germs. They spread them everywhere.
But
They
they're
be
so
touching
cute.
things and putting things in their mouths. Have you ever been to like a Chuck E. Cheese's? You seen the ball pit? Come on, kids pee in that ball pit.
Ew.
It's disgusting. It's the worst thing ever.
Well, apparently adults pee in the front seat of rental cars. So what are you really saying right now?
I'm saying that. I'm saying that
Don't
it's,
be bashing the
these are
children.
these are places where a kid can be a kid. Should we tell the all right, so bonus, this is gonna be some bonus content.
This is bonus
content. This is what happened with
This
the
ain't got nothing to do with
this
nothing.
ain't got nothing to do with this episode. So if you want to pause this and say
Or if you want to
Or
just
if you
call
wanna
it
end.
call it and adios, see you later.
We're done
But if-
with Mama always
Well,
said.
Mama
Well,
always
we're done with all
said
this, but
Wesley
some-
about to go on some tangent.
This is Wesley's tangents. This is so where were we going? We were going snowboarding, right?
We were going to the Poconos.
We were going to the Poconos, and I was riding front seat. I wasn't driving, but I was riding front seat with the dude that was driving. So now I didn't smell any pee the whole way down there. So we in New York City, and the Poconos is like on the Pennsylvania, New Jersey border.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Delaware.
Pennsylvania, Delaware. Okay, cool.
But we picked up the car from Jersey City.
We picked up
not
the car
New
from
York
Jersey
City.
from Jersey City. We're not gonna say the establishment, Enterprise.
Damn.
So, so basically, we drive up there. I didn't smell nothing. So the driver and his girlfriend that was in the back seat, they went to go to pick up their stuff. They changed outside the car, whatever, so they could go and ski and snowboard, whatever the fuck they were doing. All right. So I wasn't planning on snowboarding or skiing because I fucked up my knee. And Lean D wasn't going because I fucked up my knee and she felt bad or whatever. Shout outs to the lady Lena D for sticking around.
Look at that.
Yeah. And then two of her friends decided that they wanted to come with us. So I go in and I sit in the driver's seat because I gotta drive. Let me tell you something right now, man. Like, I smell this pee smell. I'm like, the hell? And one of her friends was in the car. I'm like, why does it smell like pee in here? And she was like, I thought it was my imagination. I smell pee too. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
But how you know it wasn't him that peed?
So
on the way up.
See, I don't know. I doubt it was him because he said he got it in whiffs of pee. Like as he was driving,
he got whiffs.
Yeah,
he was like, I thought it was a mouse that peed on the vent.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, mouses pee in the vent? That's fucked up.
Yo, that sounds mad guilty.
Yeah,
it sounds mad guilty.
I was like, why would a mouse pee in the vent? Why would there be a mouse in the car?
I don't know who this person is. But
this is a brand. That looks a brand new car. But anyway,
he probably really had to pee and a little bit trickled out.
But yeah, we told them about it. I'm like, yeah, it smells like pee. So I'm over here like smelling around. So the friend that was in the back seat just got out, and I went to the back seat, and I'm like, I'm smelling around the seat a little bit. I'm like, I don't smell a little pee. What the fuck's going on? So then I go back in the car. I sit down, and I'm like, I smell it again. What the fuck's going on? So like, I step out of the car again. I smell around the seat of driver's seat. And I'm like, ew, somebody peed in the front seat of the damn driver's car. Who did that? That's disgusting.
Your homie.
Yeah, yo, you stupid.
Well, he said he didn't.
He said he didn't do it, and I
said
believe
that
him.
he smelled it.
He said he smelled it, so I'm like, okay.
Whoever smells it, dealt it.
So yeah. With that being said, we had to have Enterprise come out to the Poconos.
Oh, you're not supposed to be dropping. Look at you.
Man, I name dropped this shit before, but they treated us really well. So
they did well.
Okay. So they brought another car because we didn't have to go pick it up. They were telling us we had to go pick it up, and Lean D was like, "Nah, chill. We ain't going to the Philadelphia airport."
Because Mama always said, "Fuck that shit."
Yeah.
Mama always said, "Your mouth's closed. It ain't gonna get fit."
Yeah. So they brought out the same car. They brought out the different version of the same car.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. They brought it out. They towed it out. I guess they asked Lean D, "What the hell's going on with this car? This car looks in great condition." And she was like, "Somebody peed in the seat." And he was like, "I'm not going nowhere near this car."
I was about to say, why wouldn't they drive? Oh, you're right, because of pee.
Yeah. So we drive it back up to Jersey City. We tell Enterprise what happened. They give us. We only rented the car for one day, so they gave us all the money back.
It was 2 days. Well, no, it was like we rented it for 2 days.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, it was 2 because it was Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So even though we returned it on Sunday, that still counted as a day.
Yeah.
So the guy because I did all the talking on the phone to get like the new car and stuff, and the guy was just like, "Hey, when you come back, we'll talk about rates and stuff." So then the lady's like, "Well, what do you think would be fair for you to pay for the rental?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, this should have never happened. Somebody should have checked the car, inspected it, that it was
where's
clean.
your quality checks?
Like, it should have never been an issue." I was like, second of all, I missed out on my entire first day because I was waiting to get this new replacement car. So therefore, I shouldn't pay anything.
Boom.
And then she's like, "So if we refund you all the money, you'll be happy as a customer?" And I was like, "Yes." And then she's like, "Okay."
And that's the end of the story, guys.
And then everybody was just like, did we not just have to pay for nothing?" And I was like, "Nope, don't worry about it.
Boom.
Let's go."
Serpentine, run away.
And what have you learned in this episode, guys? Closed mouths don't get fed. All right, peace out, Girl Scouts.